How am I doing? That's a question. That is the question. How am I doing? It's a question that most of the time we don't ask it enough, um, to the people that mean the most to us. Uh, Something that I'm learning that I should have asked more in my own relationship. Um, just watching a lot of videos and reading a lot of things, about how healthy communication is supposed to be, and things like that. And, um, I don't remember very many times where I went and asked my wife, "How am I doing? You know, how have I been lately? Are you satisfied with what I've been giving you lately? Is there more that I can do for you? Uh, you know, where's your thoughts at? How are you feeling?" Just sitting down and really having those kind of conversations and talks really, really, really can make the difference, because that's what's required for us to grow as people. When we sit down and we talk to each other and we really search ourselves, and we really listen to understand where they're coming from and things like that, then that's really what truly builds a strong connection and a strong relationship. The day that we can sit there and hear what they have to say without feeling defensive or taking it in the wrong way, which, if you're the one asking the question, you know, how am I doing, then that would mean that you are willing to already be listening and trying to understand. So there shouldn't be any defensiveness there if you're the one asking the question. But the question is, are you asking the question? You know, I can tell y'all from my personal experience and 17 years of being married that I haven't asked that question enough times. Not even close to enough times. Uh, some people have relationships and you kind of get like stuck in a place sometimes. And if you've been married a long time, there's ups and downs and things that you're going to go through, you know. But you go through those moments, those stale moments where it's like routine, everything's the same. You come home, you work, she's taking care of the stuff at home, or she works too. You're watching a movie in the evening. You living life every day thinking that, oh, it's okay, you know what I'm saying? It's just time passing by, and it's just life, we're just living it. But in those moments where time is passing by, and you're watching all of these things, just watching all of this time pass by, and you're doing these things that are building no connection whatsoever, and you start to realize that, you really have been missing out on each other. You really have been missing out on real connections with each other, and discussing things like that, like how have I been doing, and really diving, deep into who they need you to be and who you need them to be, and open up dialogue for real, true connection and conversation. Sometimes we get stuck in just thinking that it's okay, right? Because we get overwhelmed with life. You got work going on, you got kids going on, finance has been crazy, and maybe you got family issues and other traumas and stresses and things that are overwhelming you, and sometimes you feel like the last thing that you want to do is just be inside of your thoughts and your brain, and having these emotional talks and conversations about things. And sometimes that's exactly where we need to be, though, even though we don't feel like that, to let go of some of the stresses and emotions, and talk and communicate, and get some things off your chest. And in those moments, that's where love and connection can grow. So those talks and things can lead to wonderful nights, wonderful days, wonderful evenings, and of just truly sitting down and listening and connecting in the ways that we're supposed to be, right? And being there for each other emotionally, and helping to regulate each other's emotions and nervous systems, and really making our partners feel like we are connected, and that it is a safe place to open up You know, because the minute that your partner feels like it's not safe for them to open up to you, then you are losing. Big time, you're losing, you know, because that partner's going to wake up one day and feel like there's nothing there for them, you know. They're going to wake up and feel like there's nothing there, you know, but just an empty shell of a life, right? No adventure, no connection, no nothing, just the same thing day in and day out. And, you know, people who have been married for a while probably know what I'm talking about, because you have probably been through that season, and you may be in it now. You know, that season comes before. Uh, Sometimes some people's seasons come before other people's seasons. You know, but I know because I have been through that season, and it's very, very, very important. You know, communication is very important, and asking the question, "How am I doing?" could be the most important question, right? Because the minute we stop thinking about how others think of us, you know, I know in a broad scheme of things, like we're not supposed to care what everybody thinks of us, but our partners, we are supposed to care what they think of us. You know what I'm saying? We want our partners to love us. We want them to want to connect with us, and we want to have a healthy relationship with them. So don't avoid the horror conversations. You know, go to your spouse, right? Sit down with them, make them feel loved. You know, make them feel like it's an open conversation, and that there's no harm's going to come from the conversation. You know, just go lovingly and ask them. Say, how have I been doing? How are you feeling? Is there anything that I can do for you? Because that's really, really, really going to matter to them. Y'all have a good day.